So now having a look at the weight for distance. Weight for distance is a one-handed throwing event, kind of similar movement to the discus you may well have seen in the Olympics. This time we've got slightly more space to work with behind the trig. It's a larger weight, so we're throwing the light weight would be 28 pounds and the heavy weight would be 56 pounds. These would just be based off a sort of traditional farming weights that you would have found, also 56 pounds a half a hundredweight. So you know what farmers would have used to sort of measure corn and various things for selling. So you can see setting up at the back of the trig. Take a minute to settle yourself, and then we start swinging the weight out. So swing it a couple of times left to right again. Some of this is personal preference. Some people use one swing, some people use a couple. It's just to really sort of set your weight. You're looking for your weight to be through your hips. Sort of counterbalance the weight that's in your hand. 28 pounds when it's moving at speed's quite a significant weight. So once it's what we call cast out to the side, you let the weight drop behind you. And once it's sort of reached the peak of its upswing, it almost kind of goes weightless. You're kind of waiting for that moment there to then start turning around towards the front of the trig. What you're looking for is a dip of the hips. We don't really want to be pulling the weight too much, because again, when you can imagine getting up to the sort of 56 pound weight, you don't really want to be muscling that round. You're kind of using gravity to sort of pull that round for you. So a drop of the hips starts accelerating the weight through, and again, as we're turning around, the first turn, what you're looking for is to get your feet in the ground before the weight comes too far forward. Again, thinking about that separation of the shoulders and hips, you're wanting the weight behind you, so that as you turn into your second turn, you're using your body weight to pull that weight along with you. So by the time you land at the trig, in your power position, pulling off your right foot, you're wanting the weight quite far behind you, so you've got a big long pull to release it up and high. So you can see the orbit of the weight when it's at the back, away from the throwing area. It should be quite low to the ground. You know, the orbit's kind of sort of low at the back and kind of high at the front. And again, personal preference. Some guys you'll see throwing, this is it's quite obvious. It's really low at the back and really high at the front. Other throwers you'll see it's maybe a bit more flat. Again, this is just a personal preference.